G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And at face value, this Toyota Sera just looks like an ordinary 90s two-door coupe. However, it has a rather unique feature, and that is that instead of the doors going out, the doors go up. Many have heard of the McLaren F1, but few will know that it was in fact the Toyota Sera that inspired the F1's butterfly doors. But while F1s sell for millions and millions of dollars today, this can be had for just a few grand. Now obviously it is significantly less powerful than an F1 and the interior is equipped like a Turkish urinal, but nonetheless the Toyota Sera is a very cool and interesting car that we will be exploring today. While the green paint, the glass canopy and the butterfly doors are incredibly cool features of this car, under the bonnet we find nothing more special than a Toyota Starlet engine. This is a 5E FHE, a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder engine. Fortunately, compared with the normal 5E FE engine that this is based on, because this is the FHE, H stands for higher compression pistons. It also has some revised camshafts as well, which gives it a whopping 108 horsepower and 132 Newton meters of torque. It is double overhead cam with 16 valves and fuel injection. So for an engine that came out in 1990, it is certainly adequate, but by today's standards, it is far from a powerhouse. Most Toyota Seras unfortunately had this engine paired up with a 4-speed automatic transmission. However, this one, incredibly, is one of just 20% worldwide to have a 5-speed manual transmission, which at least makes it somewhat engaging to drive, as we will see a bit later on. And finally, we come to the interior, where we can experience these very cool doors. Opening the doors is easy peasy, and it actually makes it extremely easy to get in and out because it gives you a nice wide opening. But the tricky part is actually shutting the door. Because you're fighting against this massive gas strut, it's actually quite hard to shut the doors. But when you do, then you are greeted with a lot of 90s Toyota plastic. The steering wheel is extremely strangely proportioned. The gauges look funny with a grey face and yellow text on them. The air conditioning here is relatively similar to what you find in most other Toyotas, but it's just weirdly laid out with the hazard warning light switch on an angle up here. And just having glass on every surface above you is extremely unnerving. It makes it feel almost more claustrophobic than you would expect. The seats are very brown. They have a sort of funny texture on them, but they are relatively comfortable. And then of course we come to this car's party piece. It's 5-speed manual transmission that actually feels surprisingly good, although it does have some very long throws. Amazingly, this car has back seats, although I'm not sure that I'd particularly want to sit back there because you'd be getting baked in the sun with the greenhouse right above your head, although I'm told that 4 adults can fit in here reasonably comfortably. So with all of that out of the way and this very interesting car explored inside and out, let's take it for a drive and see how that mighty 7200 RPM 1.5 goes. Driving the greenhouse. It's so weird having a window like above you, and it's so echoey in here because everything's all just reflective of sound. It's so unusual. But let's put this 1.5 litre engine through its paces. Wow, that's a lot of noise and not much forward progress. And it's so loud in here, holy moly, there's like no sound deadening at all. The whole thing's just a racket. And as I'm now discovering, I have to be honest, it's not the most engaging car to drive, let's be honest. It's surprisingly not actually as slow as I expected for only like 108 horsepower. Toyota's definitely done a bit to make this thing a little bit more sprightly, but unfortunately there's really not that much point in revving it out because it doesn't make power past 6,500. It's like they've managed to get it to rev that high, but yeah, 6.5, yeah, the power's really dropping off by that point. So if you keep the revs in the mid-range, then it's just fine. But yeah, winding it out past 6.5 is a waste of time. And so red line's at 7.5, but it ain't making any power up there. Everything is so light in this car. The steering is light, the transmission's light, the whole car feels light too, actually. It's actually remarkably nimble, I've got to say. But yeah, clutch, brakes, throttle, gearbox, steering, everything is just air in this car. And the steering wheel, like, it looks so weird. Everything's just so disproportional. But I've got to say, It's a pretty fun driving car. And I was ready to like bash on this thing and be like, it's cool because of the doors, but it sucks to drive it. No, this thing's great. It's so light and nimble. You know, it only weighs like 900 and something kg. And so down a road like this, you just turn it in. Oh, look at that. It's amazing. And yeah, okay, it doesn't have that much power, but because it's so light, the 108 horsepower goes further in a lightweight car like this. And put down, you know, I'm not like, certainly not complaining that it's too slow or anything. This thing's great. It's so nimble. You know, it's not the most connected driving experience. The steering's pretty vague. The transmission's got really long throws and it's such a light throw. You can shift it with one finger, which is kind of good and bad. But I've got to say, yeah, when you get this thing singing at sort of over 5,000 RPM, that's where the power does start to come into its own. And yeah, while it certainly doesn't sound particularly inspiring, if I'm honest, it does have pretty good gear ratios, you know, only getting to 90 in second gear, which is just what you want. So overall, not really much to complain about with the Toyota Sera. Like I said, I was ready to come into this review being like, it's pretty rubbish, but it's cool because it's got exciting doors. But no, the doors are only half the story, because the rest of the car is actually really good as well. So fundamentally, the Toyota Sera is not exactly a car that you're really going to be daily driving or taking to the track. It drives just kind of like an old Corolla, really. But the good thing with it is that the doors are not its only redeeming feature. Sure, when you take it to a car meet, of course, you're going to pop the doors. People will be like, what the heck is that thing? But the good news from my perspective is that when you do take it to the car meet to show people the cool doors, at least you can still have an enjoyable driving experience on the way there. It's not the most connected to drive, but it's connected enough, and it's actually surprisingly not that slow, especially for a 1.5 litre engine from 30 years ago. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Toyota Sera. I think this is a brilliant little car. If you'd like to see some other 90s Toyotas that I've reviewed here on the channel, then click the links popping up right about now, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time.